What's up guys, this is Brent from 247parts.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install the string trimmer mounting kit onto a John Deere Z735M. The string trimmer mount kit is going to be a very handy tool if you're one of those people that likes to have all of your tools on board. So while you're going along mowing, you can stop in those places that aren't easy to walk to, or maybe you just don't feel like walking to, where you can have that string trimmer or weed eater right on board, be able to take it off, go weed eat that spot, and then hop right back on the mower to continue mowing. So within this kit, we're going to have 4 different brackets. This is the bracket that we're going to start with. And then we will go to this bracket that mounts on top, and this is going to go right back here by the rear wheel and attach to our ROPS. So everything that's going on with this string trimmer mount kit is going to be over here on the right hand side of the machine. So first thing that we need to do is look for this bolt right here, right above our rear right tire. Now this goes all the way through and back on the back side of this plastic styling, as they call it. So this is going to be a 10mm bolt that we first need to remove. We'll go in here with our extension. And just pull that guy out just like that. And then in your kit, you're going to have 2 different sizes of 13mm bolts. 2 that are longer that are going to be for our front bracket and our top bracket up here, but the shorter one here is what we're going to use to go back on through the framing here. And then along with that, we are going to have a washer and lock nut. So we'll go ahead and put our bolt through our washer here. So we'll go ahead and take our bracket, go in with our bolt, and now what we'll have to do whenever we go back in is we'll actually have to start this bolt in the hole, as it is a pre-threaded hole. And then once we get that threaded and through, then we can start our lock nut on the back side. And once we get that started, we can get our 13mm socket out, get onto our bolt here. And then once we've got that bracket on, now we can start working on getting the top half of this bracket. So for this, what we're looking at is mounting to this hole right here underneath the knuckle of our ROPS system, and then onto our bracket just like this. Now, one of the downfalls to this kit is that it is going to take up some of the space here of your cup holder, but overall you still have the full cup holder. You may just not be able to fit that handled mug in. But to mount this on, we're going to have 3 bolts that are going to go on. One is going to be one of these longer cap screws, these 13mm. Now, as you'll notice, you have one that is a touch longer here. Now, the longer one is going to go to the front on mounting our front bracket on, and this one that's just a touch shorter is the one that's going to go through back here. And it, once again, is going to be a 13mm. So we're going to go ahead and get it started. Go ahead and put it through and get our nut started on the back side of it. And then to mount this plate to our bottom bracket, we have a couple of larger carriage head bolts here. So we'll have 2 of these larger bolts, and then 2 that are smaller like this, and these are going to go again for our front set of brackets. So we're going to take these 2 larger carriage head bolts. We're going to start them in from the top, get them to where they're shouldered down into place, just like so. And then we'll go ahead and start those nuts on the bottom side. And then from here, we'll just go ahead and start tightening everything down. Once again, using that 13mm. That bottom one's just a little bit tricky to get to because you don't have as much room, so you may have to finish it off by hand. side. Just make sure everything's good and tight here. And then once we have that on, we're going to have two different sizes of mounts. Now, the larger one is going to go up here, as it is going to be fitting the handle of your trimmer, and then the smaller one is going to be fitting the shaft, so it will go down on the front side of the mower. And for this, we're going to have these two smaller cap screws. These are going to be 10 millimeter, but as you can see, we have one that is longer than the other, so we're wanting to use the longer one here on the larger clamp. Now, you have multiple positions on the top of this bracket, so you can choose just exactly where you want your mount to be depending on how large your trimmer is. All those different things, you can choose where you want this. I'm going to go ahead and get this as far out as I can and start this through the mount here. And then once you get that pushed just a little bit into place, once you run that impact down on it or that ratchet, this will start to go in a lot easier as it starts to thread into that rubber. So we'll go ahead and take that, go in with our impact here, run that down and through, and then we can go on here with our clamp, and then on with our lock nut. And break out that 10 millimeter wrench. And just get that tightened down to where we're good and snug there, where nothing's gonna come loose whenever we clamp this down. Now, moving to the front, we're still over here on the right-hand side, but we're going to have 3 bracket pieces here at the front. We're only going to need to use 2 of these. Now, this one here is going to be if you have the trash receptacle kit installed onto the front of your machine. And if you haven't seen that, I'll also have a video out on that on this channel, so be looking for that. But for this one today, we are just going to be using these 2 brackets. And the first one we're going to start with is this bracket here, and it is going to slide over our front caster here, just like that. We're going to slide it out as far as possible here, and we're going to take our longer bolt here, go in, and go all the way through the front side there, and then start this on. This is going to be a 13 millimeter, so we'll just go ahead and start tightening that down. And then our next bracket here is going to be this one, and this is going to use those smaller carriage head bolts. Now, this is called your riser, so you can choose, once again, the height that you want this at, just like you could at the back on the side to side. This is going to allow you to choose the up and down. And if you see here on the top, you're also going to have this slot to where you can choose how far forward or how far backward, and then which angle you need that clip at. So we're going to start here with those smaller carriage head bolts, and remember, those are going to be 10 millimeter. So we'll switch back here to our 10 millimeter socket, grab 2 of those bolts, 2 of those nuts. And once again, I'm just going to go ahead and set this up on the highest setting here. Now, we want to make sure and go in from the back side here, going out, so that our carriage head bolt seats in that square frame. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and start one of our nuts here, just like that. And then we'll go ahead and put in our next bolt here and get the nut started on it. We'll tighten both of those up. Just like that. So then for our last clip here, we're going to take our last of these hex head bolts, go ahead and push that down and through. Be a little bit easier on this one since it's not as thick as the last one. So we'll get that pushed down and through, and then we'll get this in position where we think we need to be. And I'm going to say at an angle just about like that to be able to go handle to the shaft out here. So then we'll start our bolt. Now remember, this can be adjustable in or out. You can also swivel this however in whichever direction you need, but it's looking like we need to be just about like this to make that angle. So I'm going to start that bolt in just like that. And we'll get our 10mm wrench, get that on. Try to keep this at the angle that we're looking for. Make sure that that is good and snug. And now it is time for a fit test. All right, so what I've got here is a Stihl FSA 60R. It is one of the battery trimmers in the Stihl lineup. And that is what I keep primarily out here at the shop. And it seems to fit great there in our front mount. Now, this could be an issue here as far as length. As you can see, we're not quite getting to where we need to be for that to fit for the shroud. But good thing is that we can simply flip this over, lock this into place, get our shaft into position just like that. And now we're set to ride with a trimmer on board here. And like I said, you have that adjustability in and out there at the front. You can go up and down, whichever best fits your weed eater or string trimmer to make this mount kit work for you. So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you are looking into one of these kits, it is part number BUC 10775, and you can get that at 247parts.com. So make sure to check that out. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to go buy your parts right here and subscribe right here.